It's time for the week 1 preview, and the preview starts right now.
Smells like football, baby.
What up, guys? Welcome into the first collaboration special. I'm your host, Kyle, of the Fantasy Football Smackdown, and joining me on this ride as we're kicking off week 1, it's my boy Bob from Word on the Streets. Bob, how's it going, bro?
It's going good, man. Don't worry, I'm not on full tilt. It's okay.
So give a little background to the people if they haven't already. You've been killing it this offseason. Starting a new podcast. You've dropped like 40 plus episodes, something crazy like that. So
yeah, 43
jumping
right
into
here.
2020, man. So
Gonna do it.
It's been good. I've really enjoyed it. You and I go way back. If people have been listening to our shows, I've had you on the Smackdown. I've been on Word on the Streets. So we've kind of given some background to that. But if people are just kind of checking back in as the season's getting started, the Fantasy Football Fellas, I turned the page on that. Seth taking a little hiatus for a bit, maybe ever, who knows, but we'll see what happens in store for that. So rebranded the show. I've been doing the Smackdown myself with guests every week and such. And then Bob started up Word on the Streets, was doing the same thing. We thought, Hey, let's combine forces for 2020 collaboration style. So we're going to be doing these preview shows and some waiver wire stuff together. But how you feeling about your first preview show here as we're heading into week 1?
Really? You're just going to throw it at me like that, huh?
Yeah.
Throw it at me like that. Oh, yeah, that was great. I was just moving along, and then, pre-show, computers, technology, come on, man. So luckily your draft took a little longer than we thought it would. Gave me a little more time to figure out what we needed to do and get going. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I'm confident in my rankings and I feel good about them. So be fun to share them with the people and help some people set some lineups and win some games this week. So it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this. It feels weird. It doesn't necessarily feel like football season yet. But as of you guys, if you're hearing this on the day it drops on the 10th, we got football tonight. We got Houston at Kansas City to kick off the season, and then a full slate of games here in week 1. But you got a Texans jersey on over there?
Yeah.
That's
I got a little car jersey on, baby.
What Salvation Army? Where'd you get that from?
No, it's from my brother-in-law in Texas, but my wife's a big Chiefs fan, so I'm just heckling her
Gotcha.
for no reason because they're gonna lose. But not the Chiefs, but Texans are. But hey,
not
any given Thursday.
You never know. Hey, remember with the Chiefs? They played the Patriots that couple of years back, or whatever, in that Kareem Hunt game. Like they surprised some people. So you never know. I did want you real quick before we start diving into the games. We got plenty to talk about. We got 8 games today. We're going to be doing the second half of the schedule. Another 8 games on the Friday show. So make sure you stay subscribed, tuned in, and you're following us both on Twitter. You can follow me at Kyle FF Fellas. You can follow Bob at Bob's 3 Toad. But one thing the SmackDown listeners have never had, it's a little bit of the YouTube, the visuals. So why don't you tell the people where they can find your shows at and where they can find this one?
Absolutely. So all the shows that Kyle and I are collaborating on are also available on YouTube. So you can see our beautiful faces on there. Kyle's shaking his head like, hell no.
I got the face for radio.
Yeah, I loved getting Seth on the show. He was like just nice and calm and stoic. It was awesome. But the YouTube site is YouTube site. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. It's at Bob's 3 Toad Warriors. Very simple because I am Bob's 3 Toad Warriors. So you can find it there. And then in Facebook, Word on the Streets, little Facebook fantasy group going on there. So, and then there's a bonus show over on my side, and that's Tuesday live streams, 8 p.m. Central. And so that'll be a show with random guests on, recapping the week, what we found exciting, just having a good time with it. So some people would kind of have a show like that on Monday. Well, on Sunday, I'm not going to be in good shape to record something for you guys for a Monday drop. So it is what it is. You get it on Tuesday nights, and you can have some fun. You can ask your waiver wire questions if you're sitting there doing your waivers, those kind of things. It's interactive with our guests, and that replays on Wednesday. So just a little bonus action for you there. So good times.
Yeah, those have been fun. I've been on a couple of them. But if you guys are looking for some more content, be sure to subscribe to Word on the Streets. These shows are both going to drop, on both feeds, but make sure you stay subscribed because Bob's still got his stuff going on with the live stream and You never know when, I might go and drop a bonus episode here and there. So just stay subscribed, support both shows, and I'm looking forward to this, man. So why don't you kick us off here and let's talk about some games.
All right, yeah, we're going to cover the first 8 games of the week, and that starts with Thursday night, which is tonight for those listening who didn't hack into my computer and get it early. That's Thursday night. That's Houston versus Kansas City, the highest scoring projection of the week at 54.5 points. Let's go. Let's get some touchdowns. Let's have some fun. Why don't you take it, Kyle?
Yeah, I think let's start with the Houston side of the ball. I think you know who you're playing as far as you're starting Watson. And you're probably starting David Johnson, right? I mean, you drafted him probably the 4th, 5th round, pretty standard. We'll keep an eye on this situation, see how the split goes. We'll can probably say this about every single game, but without the preseason, we don't necessarily know how these offenses are going to look with some of these new pieces. But I think when you're looking at the real question marks on the Houston side are just can you start Brandon Cooks? He was limited participant in practice on Wednesday. He did not practice on Tuesday. That's a little bit of a concern. And then you got Will Fuller, the ultimate boom bust on that side of the ball. So how comfortable are you starting, Cooks and or Fuller if they're both active? What's your level of confidence in those guys?
I'm fine going Fuller as my 3rd wide receiver, probably not my 2nd, but I don't mind him as my 3rd. Probably either one of them as my 3rd, especially with Cooks being possibly hobbled. Mm-hmm. Maybe even Randall Cobb is the 3rd one if he's out. A little sneak in play there. Because somebody's got to be getting those balls because they're going to be chasing.
Yeah, agreed. I think right now you and I both have Fuller kind of in that flex range. You got him ranked at 23. I got him at 31, but that probably go up a little bit as you guys are preparing for tonight. I think, they're going to be, like you said, they're going to be chasing points. So a lot of fancy points to be had on that Houston side of the ball. We know the Chiefs. You know who you're playing at the top of that. You don't need us to tell you. You're starting Mahomes. You're starting Tyreek. Travis Kelce, not on the injury report heading into Thursday, so you're good to go there.
What about the other wide receivers?
Do you trust any of those guys? That's a great question. Week 1, we'll go. No?
Week 1, start Sammy Watkins.
That's true.
Says Bob.
I'm with you. I don't trust any of these guys. You got a full complement of players. None of these players were even, first 10 rounds. Hardman, is who he is at that rate. If you wanted to take a shot at him at in DFS or something, but what's your thoughts on Edwards-Helaire, man? As a rook, you haven't even seen he's never seen the field. We drafted him in the 1st round. You starting him with confidence? Is he a must start?
Yeah, I'm starting him. I have him on a couple teams. One against you. Some other ones in there too. So I'm gonna start him. I'm gonna play him. You're going to start 2 or 3 running backs and on that offense scoring those points. Am I going to put in, Darrell above him? Darrell? No. Yeah. No, I'm not. So I'd start him. I'd feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, he's top 12 for both of us. You drafted him. You spent the draft capital. You're committed. Throw him in there, see how it goes. We expect a lot of points in this game. Like you said, highest over-under or point total of the week. So I think you gotta plug them in. If you're looking at, if you drafted, somebody like DeAndre Swift, that might have some question marks going into week 1, or the Washington backfield situation, and you want to throw Darrell Williams in there. I don't have a problem with that, as a deep flex. If you're kind of stuck at the running back position. I'm in a couple leagues where I'm like, I don't really love this situation as much as I did when I left my draft. So maybe you plug and play him in there in a deeper spot. So
he's getting more love than we kind of expected.
And he might still be out there. He was free, on draft day. A lot of people thought it was going to be DeAndre Washington. Right. All right, man. Anything else in this game?
No, I think that's it for that game. I think we move on to one of the most exciting games to me, which is Seattle and Atlanta. That's a good time right there.
Dude, I'm surprised this could be a contender for the highest scoring game of the week. I mean,
right?
Let's kick it on the Seattle side of the ball. They're traveling. It's an early 1:00 start, but it's the start of the season. So sometimes those things kind of, people get concerned about the West Coast teams traveling east. But in this scenario where it's the first game, I'm not overly concerned about it. We have Russell Wilson as a top 5 for both of us at the quarterback position. Atlanta defense isn't projected to be that great, so they should be putting up some major league points here. Chris Carson, healthy enough to start the year, so he's top 24 for both of us. You got him at 22. Do you have any concerns, or you just feel like he's still a solid start this week?
He's a fine start. I've never loved Chris Carson. I've got him. That's a little bias there. Is what that is. That's a little bias. I got to learn to get away from that bias when I'm telling people to set their lineups. But that's exactly what that is.
No problem.
Plus, I see a lot of scoring going on and them chucking the ball around. So that might strip away from him a little. But yeah. And then I'd start all the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers. I'd start them both. I don't mind that. I'd even keep an eye on their tight end, my man. See if he plays healthy and pull him off the waiver wire.
Who's your man?
Oh, damn it. You just did to me.
It's Will Dissly, right?
Uncle Will Dissly. Drink.
There it is. We got to start that up already. There's one name.
So for those who don't know, we're going to take a momentary pause here. I'm pretty sure I have early Alzheimer's, and so I call it the mad cow. And so me and Kyle sit here and we play a little game of visual player charades. And so he knew he was setting me up there. I was looking for it down the sheet, but because Fantasy Pros has them buried so low, I had to dig deeper than I wanted to while I was trying to get it quickly. So there you go. That's that game for you. That's fun. Atlanta. Is there anyone you're not starting in Atlanta?
No, I think across the board you're starting them all. Ryan, Gurley, Ridley, obviously Julio Jones, and even Hayden Hurst. Seattle was second worst against the tight end last year. They added Jamal Adams, but I think Hurst is still going to get peppered, man. You and I both liked him a lot in the preseason. I just got done with the draft. You mentioned it. I was kicking the can on tight end all the way down, and then finally, like in round 10, I kind of started looking. Hurst was still out there. Everybody had a tight end, and all of a sudden, people started taking their backups, and there were like 3 more teams that took backup tight end before it got back around to me. So I don't have as much Hayden Hurst as I would like. I was hoping to get him a few more spots, but
there you go.
I think this is just one of those classic. I used to call it on the fellas to start them all. I mean, these first 2 games are about as good as you can get. So all right. Stay clear of these defenses.
Well, but yeah, exactly. For the next matchup, let's take that start them all blanket. Let's cut it up. Maybe make napkins out of it because there's only a few players you can wipe your face with on this team. So New York Jets versus the Buffalo Bills. I don't like the quarterback on the Jets. I'll take Herndon, and I'll take Crowder, and I might look at Lev Bell if I need him. Might make a good flex for me. I'm not comfortable starting him as my second running back, though. What about you?
Yeah, Bell, I mean, we're finally going to see what all these reports are about at this backfield. It came like, Frank Gore is getting a lot of work. It's going to be a 60-40 split, blah, blah, blah. And then enough that Le'Veon Bell literally came out. He's like, I want to be on the field every time. Even if I don't get the ball, I want to be out there. Like, thanks, Le'Veon. Like, I'm glad that you're okay playing football, But, I mean, I'm concerned. I wouldn't be super pumped about playing Le'Veon Bell. You obviously drafted him enough where you probably got to plug him in there. I got him at 23 in my rankings. So there's not anybody I'm grabbing up off the wire or anything like that, or even somebody that maybe I necessarily like I picked up late that now has better value, like, Robinson from the Jags, or Bryce Love. Like, I'm not starting those waiver wire guys over Le'Veon Bell. I'm going to plug him in and see how it goes. I like Crowder a little bit more in this matchup. He put up 10. He had like 17 fantasy points in half-point PPR against this Bills team with Josh Rosen, or with Josh Rosen, with Sam Darnold chucking in the ball one last year. Yeah. So I like Crowder and Bell, but that's really about it as far as the running backs and the wide receivers go.
And I'm staying away from Darnold since that's all the people that I'm comfortable in, and Herndon.
Yep. Yeah, I agree there, man. I think the more interesting stuff, I guess, is on the other side of the ball with the Bills.
Is it?
We both have Josh Allen as the top 10 quarterback, so we feel pretty good about that. What about this Singletary Moss situation? Because it's been interesting.
See. There's a very why don't you read those numbers right there on the screen? 32 is where you have Mr. Singletary, and I've had him up at number 17, baby. Listen, even if I'm wrong, I don't think I'm wrong this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think Singletary is going to get to work early in the season, and this is the first game of the season, so it's early. So start him and play him if you got him, because I think his time that you can play him may possibly be more limited. I'm not as big a Moss fan as everyone else, but I think his time may be more limited than I want it to be. But I think this week he has a good week. He chops up on that. Who the Jets have left?
Yeah, I mean, their defense is definitely going to be worse than last year with losing Adams, losing some key pieces. So
you want to stream a defense? It might be Buffalo.
might be. I think it's with Singletary. I don't hate him. I can flex him this week, but I would play I'd taken the shot or the risk, I guess, on Cam Akers this week. I'm taking the risk on probably either of the Colts guys just because of the matchup against the Jags is pretty good. And for me, Antonio Gibson, again, kind of risking it there, not really knowing what we're getting into with that situation. I would play Gibson over Singletary slightly there, but I totally get it. You had to spend a kind of a mid-round pick on Singletary if you want to plug and play him in there, but that's definitely going to be one of the situations we're watching closely.
Yes.
As far as these rookies and a true incumbent that we all liked, to a certain extent this offseason. So
absolutely.
Stephon Diggs, 25 in the Fantasy Pros consensus, 25 for me, 25 for you. He's finishing 25th this week. So there he goes.
Let's start him.
John Brown?
No.
Yeah, me neither. He's a flex type guy on a normal week with bye weeks, but we're full strength here. So
39, 43, 41. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So we went from two crazy scoring games potentially to a Jets Buffalo, and now we're going to go with the Bears and the Lions in NFC North showdown. It sounds like Mitchell Trubisky is going to be the starter for the Bears.
Yeah, it was announced.
I mean, it's A-Rob, right? And then is it anyone else? Can you trust anybody on the Bears?
Do you trust the running back situation? I probably have Cohen higher than most here. Let me scan up here for some quality.
Yeah, you got him 26. So
26. You're only 28 in Fantasy Pros at 28, right there with you. Yeah, I'd flex him in, especially if you're in a half or full PPR. I'd do it.
Yep, I think in a PPR for sure, I would I'd put him in over Singletary. I think Cohen is probably safe for his 5-6 catches. David Montgomery was limited in practice midweek, which is a great sign. I think if you drafted him kind of after the injury, you were thinking at least a week or two he's going to be out. So you probably have another starter to plug in there over Montgomery anyway. But I think this could be good for his future prospects as far as him getting back on the field sooner rather than later. But even if he's out there, I think Cohen is the back to play out of this tandem. And I think we're going to be saying this a lot this year. It's pretty much A-Rob and roll the dice with one of these running backs, I guess, if you want.
You don't want any of that love of the tight ends, or is Mitch going to run some yards for us? He blew up on them last year, didn't he?
I think Mitch is an interesting guy, in super flex leagues. I was in some super flex drafts, even up this last weekend. Trubisky was barely drafted, so there's possible maybe he is on the wire, or even in those types of leagues, it's worth stashing just to see if they're actually going to let him run the ball. But no, I'm steering clear. He's not inside my top 25. I have him at 31, so I don't even want to play him.
Well, let's move over to a more interesting team. That's Detroit Lions. Matt Stafford, I got him at 15. You got him at 18. I'm comfortable starting him, even though I have him that low. I'm totally fine if I'm streaming, rolling with Stafford. I took him many leagues as my only quarterback. I like him, like his opportunity. His wide receivers are looking good. For tight end is where I have the question. Running backs where I have the question there. If I'm not comfortable really throwing either one out there so much myself, but
with Stafford, I do have him at 18. We talked about all off season about the 8 games and the pace and all that stuff. He never played the Bears last year. I mean, he had some tough matchups that he avoided with the injury. So I think Stafford's fine if you don't want to roster second QB for the week. I'm not dropping him obviously, but some of the guys that we'll talk about on the Friday show, I'm playing Tyrod Taylor over him this week. I'm playing Jimmy G over him this week. Those are guys that, you drafted later. Tyrod, you can still pick up right now. Phillip Rivers is another one. There's a few guys I would play over Matthew Stafford, but if you don't have the roster spot or you don't want to pick up another QB, I'm fine rolling him out there. I just think this might be a down week for him. And I think you nailed it. You nailed it with the rest of these guys. You're starting your boy Galladay, Marvin Jones. You know who he is. And but of the running backs, man, if I had to pick one, I'm playing Carry on. At least he's healthy, which seems weird to say. But Swift has been limited. They signed AP for a reason, right? Maybe they were a little bit concerned about Swift's availability out of the gate. I own Swift everywhere, man. I hate putting him on the bench after I drafted him in round 5, but I think that's what you got to do. Tough matchup, a lot of question marks as far as the injury and the usage. I mean, who knows? So, I think that's where I'm at with the running backs.
All right. And you feeling better about tight end?
I'm not starting Hawkinson.
No.
He's just too. I think he plays the Cardinals in week 3. You can play him then. So
hey, he had a first great week 1 last year. So
yeah,
all right.
exactly.
Exactly. All right, so let's flip to a maybe more interesting game. I'm saying that with a huge question mark, and that's Green Bay versus Minnesota. I mean, that used to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, this one's tough, man. Rodgers is somebody that finally came down to earth as far as his draft day price, but he was kind of being drafted around 12-ish, so you didn't have to pay the steep price for him. But here's another guy. Like I'm playing Rodgers over Stafford by 1 spot. I have him at 17-18 my rankings. This match
I'm at 14-15. Yeah.
I think you can get away from him this week again with kind of those same guys. Rodgers has struggled since 2016. He has a 116-point game. Everything else is 12 or less. He's had a tough time against this Zimmer defense. So I'm rolling Adams and Jones, but I'm probably trying to steer clear of Rodgers again if I can have the roster spot there. So
I got Lazard at 51, and you got him with whatever hashtag N/A means.
Not ranked, man. No thanks for me. So no. I think that it's a situation to monitor with the who the number 2 guy is.
Yeah.
There is an MVS who had some late news quotes, but I think it's those 2 guys and it's Adams and Jones and Rodgers if you're not have one to race another spot on a QB.
Yeah.
What about the Vikings for you?
The Vikings, let's fire up Mr. Adam Thielen as your wide receiver 2 if you need it. Kirk Cousins can stay on the waiver wire bench. And then you got to start Dalvin Cook. And then at tight end, man, I got Rudolph at 30. You got that hashtag NA thing again going on there.
Yep.
And then I think I've got Irv Smith at above him, 22, and you got him at 23. So looking for a little Irv Smith Jr. love. I know you and I both share him in some opposing leagues. Mm-hmm. So he could be a nice little sneaky wide receiver 2 for that team.
Yeah, I love Irv Smith is going to be a guy that I try to stash on any roster that is deep enough. If we got a deep enough bench, try to put him there and see how this goes. If he is the alpha, amongst the tight ends, there's going to be enough targets. I think, even though they're not going to throw the ball a ton, there's going to be enough targets. I think that he could be the number 2 option in the passing game, and he's super talented. I think the best are still to come with him. So he's a stash candidate. But I'm with you on Thielen. As far as a wide receiver 2, I'm a little bit further down on him this week than I might be in other weeks. I got him at 27, but that's not necessarily of over concern. It's just don't think he has the ceiling. We saw last year from Kirk Cousins in two games against the Packers, he combined for 16 fantasy points. If these defenses remain strong like we saw last year, I just think there's a limited little cap on the upside. But no problem rolling Thielen as a wide receiver 2.
The rookie Justin Jefferson, I'm putting a little star by him on your Yahoo leagues or whatever, so you can put him on your watch list and sitting back and watching, see what he does, and seeing if he's worth a pickup, because there is a vacancy left from Diggs, but I'm definitely not starting him. I got him down at 44, and you got that hashtag there again. So
we're going with wait for someone to drop him, because it's going to take all these rookies a while. Yep. So he's one that I'm willing to wait out. If he's on my team, or like you said, watch list him and wait till he becomes available. I think he's going to be somebody that is going to have some value here down the stretch.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to interesting one here. Miami. I just called Miami interesting. In New England. What the hell? You know what's interesting about this game is not that we love the game. It's that we are interested to see what the hell is going to happen with these two very flowing teams. Very amoebic.
Yeah, dude, it's just so weird because usually it's always, for years it's just been, okay, hammer the Pats, man, because they're just going to go off. Miami, you never touch anybody on that side of on that team. But this year, a lot of question marks. Obviously, you have this Miami offense that was clicking down the stretch. Does that continue? A young defense that has added a lot of good pieces to it. And then on the New England side of the ball, of course, the first time in 17 years is not going to be Tom Brady at the helm. A lot of new changes there as far as him being under center, a lot of new faces on the defense. As far as some players opting out, they still have some of their key guys like Gilmore is still going to be there. So this one's going to be interesting. I think this is going to be a defensive struggle. Personally, I think the last 3 games we kind of talked talked about here. I have some really good defenses in them, and I think this could be one of them. So, what about who we start in Miami, man? I mean, what are we doing with these?
I got both of the receivers, assuming they're actually not injured and playing down in the 40s.
Mhm.
I got Gesicki. I think we both have him around 13, 14. 14 for you, 13 for me. And that number very possibly goes up if one or both of those receivers become more injured than they're leading up to be, and they could be totally fine and playing. But keep an eye out for that. But even if they are playing, I think he's a great flex player for us this game. And at running back, WTF. Howard, no thank you. Breida, no. Wait. They signed a guy this week. They signed Goomba Wallet? No.
Yeah. No, that was the Jags. I don't remember who.
Was the Jags that got him?
Yeah. Miami did sign somebody. They traded
Tom
for
Brown?
No, Miami traded for Lim Bowden.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
My bad. I was thinking the wrong news. Drink.
I'm with you on Howard. You and I both have, weirdly enough, exactly the same at 37, which is a little bit below the consensus over Fantasy Pros has him at 32. Breida for me is somebody I have him a couple spots ahead of Howard. I'm at 34, which is ahead of consensus. I think he's more somebody just to monitor, see how the situation breaks down. We're all just trying to project this. We thought it was kind of color by numbers, like Howard's going to get the rushing downs work, probably the goal line, and Breida is going to be more involved, in the passing game. So hopefully it works out that way so that as far as, when you're drafting these guys, they kind of work out how you expected. But
especially on game script weeks.
Yeah. And this one, I don't even know. Like, are they going to be chasing points?
Right.
Maybe not. So I think we definitely need to point out, you mentioned it, Parker being buried, 39 for you, 40 for me. And we're doing these ranks completely separate, people. So when we're looking at these on our own, putting them together for the notes here. 33rd among Fantasy Pros consensus rankings. I think that's one of the sit of the week candidates, man. I think, when you're looking at Parker, he's going up against Gilmore, toughest matchup potentially in the whole league. And he's shown that he struggled against this New England team in the past. So, and we know what the splits were we talked about all offseason as far as Williams being there. And it sounds like Williams is probably going to be a go. So I'm with you on both the receivers. I think they're both sits. Parker is somebody you might have drafted as a starter. And I have no issue and no hesitation to bench him this week.
What about the Magic Man? What about the Magic Man? You got him at 25. I got him at 24. But the man is playing on borrowed time.
Yeah.
I'm going to break something. I'm going to break a record. I'm going to break my arm. I don't care. I'm going to break a defender if he tries to tackle me. I'm going to break something this game. It does not matter. And we got him buried.
Yeah, I just think the matchup is still, even though there's some questions, is if how elite they're going to be, they're still above average. And
they lost a lot of pieces. That's for damn sure, though.
Yeah, like I'm playing like all the guys I talked about earlier when we were talking about Stafford and Rodgers, but like I'm throwing like
25. I mean,
I'm throwing like Teddy Bridgewater in there. Over Fitzmagic. Like I think the
Kirk Cousins for tough. You, not for me, but you get Kirk Cousins.
Even Kirk Cousins, yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah, not this week. Maybe in a couple weeks because I think they got another tough matchup in week 2. Yeah, man, it's fun when he does well, and I hope he does on Sunday. But he won't be in any of my lineups. So
all right, well, here's another cup of vomit. Let's flip over to the New England side.
Yeah, this is another. What do you do? I mean, who do you play? Can you play anyone?
Yeah, Cam Newton. I've got him. Hold on, I got to scroll. Let me scroll for a second here. I was using my Control F a minute ago. Now I didn't. There he is. I got him at 13. You got him at 22. And Fantasy Pros has him at 13. So me and Fantasy Pros are in sync here. And you're like, no, thank you, sir.
I guess I'm out this week on Cam. I want to, I don't remember if it was.
You want to see it.
You want to see it. I want to see it first. Like, let me see it. And if he hits, this is a defense in Miami, I think is going to be more improved this year. I don't think they're going to be the auto start.
Oh, I agree.
We saw in the past. So I think Cam is somebody that, again, just like what I said with Stafford and with Rodgers, like if you're okay, if you don't have a second quarterback, Cam's your guy. If you don't have the roster spot to add somebody else off of waivers this week, whether it's Minshew or Tyrod or even Jimmy G who's out there in half of Yahoo leagues right now. If you don't have the roster spot, that's fine. You roll them and we'll all have this week 1 adventure together. But for me, I'm I'm not playing him if I can avoid it. I'd rather have somebody that I feel a little bit better about. Like, again, another player that we'll talk about on tomorrow's show, Phillip Rivers. I mean, yeah, he's with a new team. He's with a familiar coordinator. He's going against Jacksonville, man. He's 29% owned.
That's true. That's true.
Put Phil in there, man.
It's Jacksonville with no defense either anymore.
Exactly.
So I got it.
So we'll go with Cam as of a sit candidate if you're willing to spend the roster spot.
Just watch the sideline cams. Watch the sideline cams and watch Cam and Fitz holding up charts with their yardage on the ground across the field at each other all game long. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Give Cam a little chance to show off those ankles.
Yeah.
And show him that no one's keeping him in the pocket. So
I hope so, man. There's definitely a lot of people that are banking on, the old Cam Newton to be there because I've seen him drafted, in that 12 to 15 range, and he could be one of the steals of the year if he returns to what he was. So I dig it.
All right. What about Harry? I'm not playing him. I got him at 53. You got him at 49. So you got him probably the last spot before that hashtag NA shows up.
Yeah. I'm not playing. No. I mean, I'll just say I'm not playing probably any of these Patriots. I mean, I think with Harry, he's somebody that, again, he's kind of similar to like the Irv Smith, Justin Jefferson type thing. Like I'm kind of stashing him, seeing if it works. I think Harry is more of the type of receiver that could succeed with Cam Newton as opposed to Julian Edelman. So I think Harry is more interesting. And for the long term, Edelman is somebody that is just going to be, man, just to me, not interesting, just low upside, type of play. Might get a few catches, PPR, probably startable. But for me, he's just not somebody that I'm going to be playing even this week. So
we both got him loaded in as like a third flex type guy.
Mm-hmm.
In a half full PPR, not in a standard. That's for probably sure. So
yeah, yep.
All right, we good. We good there with that puke fest.
I think the only other thing of note is the Patriots situation is just completely. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. Damian Harris, has all these.
The running backs are so bad we didn't even touch him.
No, we didn't even touch him. I mean, Harris is on IR, so he's out. Yeah. And make sure you guys know this. If you're not been paying attention, this season they can take a player back off IR in 3 weeks. So, like I did this in a draft tonight. I drafted Harris knowing that I had an IR spot, so I could immediately slide him in there. I'll just pick up my kicker because that league is stupid and has kickers. I almost made it. I got 2 leagues with kickers this year. But if you see Harris on the wire, add him now. If you have an IR spot, add him now. It's a no-brainer. Just add him, put him in your IR spot, and see what happens in 3 weeks. Who knows? Sony Michel, they say they're going to work him back slow, which is why I'm not going to trust him here. You know what James White is, but again, is he a Cam Newton type receiver? I'm not banking on it yet. I want to see that. So I'm not starting any of the running backs. If I had to start one, it's going to be James White. But I have him pretty buried this week. And I believe the consensus does too over Fantasy Pros. I mean, I think we're all kind of on the same page right now. He's at 27 in Fantasy Pros consensus. So I got him at 33 PPR flex if you need him, but yeah, I'm probably steering clear. Are you playing any of these guys?
I don't draft any of them, so no.
There you go. I think honestly though, there's no.
I got White at 29, so I would flex White if I had him in a half PPR or a PPR. I would, I would flex Cohen before him. I'd flex Hunt before him. Even Cam Akers.
There we go. Even Cam Akers, baby. So I think that's about. This is definitely a game where you're monitoring. How does Cam look? How does the Miami backfield shake out? Is there a lead dog right now in New England? And, how about Gesicki, type of thing? Like those are the things you're monitoring this game. I don't think you're going to play a lot of these guys if you can avoid it. So
I would roll out that defense for Miami though. I would consider it as a flex.
Yeah. Oh. And they're out there in everywhere, man. Like they have, I think they have like 1% ownership. The Miami defense does. You're playing DSTs. I don't mind it. They're gonna, they're a familiar team, and Cam Newton is not familiar. So let's see how this goes. But
if you're stream. All right, here we go. Philadelphia versus Washington. Montgomery allegedly is back to healthy. We like that. They're trying to get Reagor back on the field. Doubt it. Alshon Jeffrey, you trust him? I don't trust him.
Oh, did you mean Miles Sanders?
What did I say?
Montgomery.
God damn it. There it is. Drink. Everyone listening, you drink too. There's the name disease.
Even if you're at work, it's fine. Just tell your boss. Bob and Kyle said it's fine.
Yeah, water. I don't care. Drink something.
Yeah. Sanders was back to practice. There's all these reports like, oh, he's good to go. Oh, he's going to be limited. So I just think he's kind of the same rationale that you have with like Edwards. Like,
yep, you drafted him, play him.
You drafted him, you play him. It's a round 1 pick. Maybe avoid him in DFS, that type of stuff if you want. I totally get it. The matchup's solid. You know, it's not one that you got to steer clear of, but he's also just, you were heavily invested draft capital. You got to play him there. Rager's running around doing things. That's good news. But I'm not sure that I'm trusting. One, he's a rookie, but two, like, is he going to be healthy? I'm not sure. So let's assume that Rager is not going to play. Let's say Sanders is, so we're good there. But let's go. I guess we'll stick with Sanders first. Sanders is playing. We'll go with that. What about Boston Scott? Is he a flex guy for you this week?
I've got him down at 34. I picked him up in a lot of drafts. The less wide receivers they have on the field at game time, the more I'm going to move him from 34 to 33 to 31, and I'm going to be more comfortable throwing him in my flex in any half or full PPR. The guy is good. He can play, and I could see them using him more, even with Sanders on the field. I could see them, sliding him out because they do some fun things usually in Philly. So I don't mind flexing him in. No,
I think that's a great call. So consensus has Boston Scott at 43. I'm at 38. I always seem like you mentioned bias earlier. I have a bias towards these pass catcher guys that like they're, if you're playing full PPR.
That's because you love standard and you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. It's like 2 strikes.
Yes, I guess. Boston Scott is somebody who shouldn't be ignored, especially this week, because if there's any questions regarding Sanders' workload, which I think there could be this week, I think Scott's a great call. I'll throw a few names that so the listeners should know. You have, and let me know if these are any things that you might correct. But right now you have Boss Scott 34, so you have him over Philip Lindsay, you have him over Zach Moss.
Sure, absolutely.
You have him over Jordan Howard.
Yeah,
so both the Miami guys. So you got Boston Scott over all those guys, and you right now Boston Scott over Antonio Gibson.
And that was trickier, but that's because I don't like the Washington backfield scenario, and I don't think they're going to score a ton of points, and so I don't know they're going to be that close to the end zone to get that extra 6 points you need to make the week worth it. So
I like your rank. I like your ranking, man. 34. I think I got to bump Scott up a little bit. I'm going to lean more towards your way here on this one. I think we're both ahead. Even I'm ahead of consensus, which feels weird on Boston Scott, but I think that's the way to go. Even if Sanders is a go, I think he's going to be a little bit limited. No reason to rush Sanders out there, give him 20 touches. Like he can be productive on 12 to 15 for fantasy, gives Philly what they need, roll Boston Scott out there.
Yeah. And they're playing Washington. They're not playing the I don't know, anybody good. I was going to say the Chiefs. I couldn't get the word Chiefs out.
No, I think that's a great call on Scott. I think that's a sneaky play. I think there's another sneaky play on this team. When you're flipping to the wide receiver position, Alshon Jeffrey is not going to be obviously available. You have Jalen Reagor. Great positive news. If you drafted him, you're feeling good. Just hopefully maybe a week or two before you get to the bye weeks, he'll be available to you, and you draft him in a double, round 8, 9, maybe 10. So I like the news. But for week 1, we're talking about just this matchup against the Redskins. Their front seven's pretty good. Their secondary is not so hot. Is there anybody out, is in the wide receiver group for Philly that you're trusting this week?
No, I mean, are there people that you could take a shot on? I have Deshaun Jackson with a big white empty square for some reason on my lineup. Thanks for putting that empty square with some red on it for me.
Yeah,
I don't know why that is.
That I don't think you got him ranked then, man.
Yeah, I don't even have the NA in there. It's interesting. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, Deshaun Jackson, I would put him in my flex. I would consider putting Goddard in my flex too, because I could see them rolling out some 12 personnel if they're light on wide receivers as well, and that could favor Goddard. Obviously, Ertz is out there on the field, so not as good of a risk to take. But if you got enough flexes and you're desperate, sure. Most people aren't desperate yet because most people have plenty of players. I don't know. You have a Deshaun Jackson at 36, so you're not loving him yourself.
I don't love him, but he's definitely a lot higher than I expected, to have him in this week. I think he's somebody that if you have like Brandon Cooks going tonight, right, on Thursday, right? If I have Brandon and Jackson, he might even be available. I can take a look to what his ownership percentage is. I would expect it to be, high enough that he's not readily available everywhere. But Jackson is somebody, if you have Cooks and he's out this week, or you don't like your backups, I think you roll with Deshaun Jackson as a high upside, just dart throw there and see.
Did you see where I have Cooks? 36.
No, 36.
Right where you have Jackson.
Yeah, I think
26, and I'm just going off injury. I just pushed him. I kept pushing him down because wasn't sure if he plays and he's out there on the field. I probably got him up with you at 26, but
yeah. I'm rolling Djax over Edelman, both Miami wide receivers.
Sure.
I have him over like John Brown, Hardman. I have him over Marvin Jones because I think that's a lower scoring game. So I don't think he's an auto start by any means. Like, don't be like, aha, like I tricked everyone. I took Deshaun Jackson. Like, double check you're not taking a stud out for him. It's week freaking 1 here. But if you're dealing with that, I think he's a fine dart throw. But I think you nailed it with the tight ends, right? Those are really the top targets. Obviously, Zach Ertz is an auto play. Goddard is, he's 12th for both of us and the consensus. I think he's a startable tight end for sure there. So, and obviously, if all those guys are solid, we're playing Carson Wentz. Wentz had 29 and 21 fantasy points, 6 passing touchdowns in 2 meetings last year against the Redskins. So he is a go for me, no doubt.
Yeah, he's so for me. I got him down.
Yeah, 16. That was, as I'm saying, I'm looking, I'm like, holy crap.
It probably has a lot to do with me not having any number there for Deshaun Jackson. So
maybe, man. I think I got Wentz at 11. You got him at 16. So you could get away from him.
I'll take Stafford over him. I'll take Rodgers over him. I'll take Cam Newton over him. So
all right,
it sounds like we got a toad wall.
Yeah, we might have to figure something out because we're finding some of these we're finding some of these ranking disputes here. We might have to start keeping track of these. So
we'll pop 3 of these from this show on the start for the next show.
All right,
and we'll do it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Washington. I mean, what do we do? It's Terry McLaurin, right?
McLaurin, and that's it. I don't want any part of the quarterback scenario there. I don't want any part of the running back scenario there. Doesn't mean they won't be great, but I'm definitely watching. I'm not interested in starting it unless second flex maybe. I'll start the running back scenario there. Maybe.
Yeah, I have Gibson. I have Gibson right now at 26. He's kind of in that. He probably would jump back a couple spots because I think I like Cam Akers over him.
Yeah, I'm 36.
But,
so
yeah, I take him over. Like Jordan Howard, Phillip Lindsay, Zach Moss. Like that's kind of where I'm at with him. I think that you hopefully have enough guys at the running back position that you drafted that you don't need to roll out Gibson yet. But obviously monitor that situation as there's a lot of unknowns being tossed around right now in that backfield. So I think really it's scary Terry, and that's all she wrote.
Sorry, Washington. That's a little scary.
Who gets? Don't forget. Philly added Darius Slay this offseason. So that secondary is still pretty bad outside of Slay, but Slay is a pretty solid corner. So
he might slay it.
That's God. That's something that you might want to keep an eye on. I don't have McLaurin ranked as high as I usually do. I'm at 23. So still startable, but keep an eye. All right,
I have him at 15, so I'm loving on him a lot more than you.
There you go. And you're
right. The only thing there. So I'm not going to give any love to the quarterback. It's just I see him getting all the balls.
He can do it. He can do it without Haskins having fancy relevant day. So I think we're good there.
There you go. Let's go to the last game of the of this slate for us, not the final game of the 1:00 slate, but for this episode. And we're going to Vegas, baby. It's actually not in Vegas, but it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Because I didn't want to say the wrong city. So
hey, you're better than me, man. I'd still be sitting like, who the hell is LV?
Yeah. I was asked that a couple nights last night when my wife was picking up a waiver play.
Yeah.
Carolina playing Las Vegas versus Carolina. So some more question marks there. We got 2 young rookies at wide receiver for Carolina, getting the ball from Carr. You got the over peppered tight end. And you got Josh Jacobs. We're starting Josh Jacobs, no questions asked, right?
100%, man. He is, man. And we don't talk about a lot of DFS as far as salaries or anything like that on my show. But Jacobs, if he's priced even outside of the top 3, like he's an auto play. He is the RB2 for me this week. Carolina was absolutely horrendous against the run game last year, and this defense is going to be worse. So Jacobs is an auto play.
There you go. Waller's 5'5" and 6'4", so you're firing up Waller.
Yep.
Are you confident in either one of the two wide receivers in? I almost said Oakland, and then I said it, saying I almost said it in Las Vegas.
Not confident, but intrigued. All these depth chart reports are all crap. Don't worry, don't listen to any of that stuff. But when they do have them listed both as starters, that and there's really nobody else there. Like Renfro has his role; he's slot. He's a slot guy for them. Tyrell Williams obviously placed on IR; he's done. They don't really have anybody else. So I think in this scenario, it is worth kind of noting that hey, these guys are going to be in line for some looks, and if one guy can I don't think both can be fantasy relevant all season long, like to a high level, but if one stands out, that's going to be a guy that you want to have on your team. So these guys were obviously drafted, but
I can tell you right now, I've already found our first wager wall bet.
Yeah.
I've got Ruggs at 33. You got him at 51. And right above that, I see Kirk at 42. And for you and 60 for me. So 18 in either direction. So we got the same spread going for both guys.
That makes me feel so freaking uneasy that I have Ruggs ranked that low.
51. You got him below Christian Kirk. You got him below a shitload of people because he's at 51.
I'll take Djax versus Ruggs if you want that. I feel better about that.
We'll talk about it.
See, now it's not as easy as it sounds. You heard Seth and I be talking these wager bets all these years. They're tough. You got it, and you don't want to lose. So
I just don't know why I don't have Djax ranked. That's why I'm not comfortable with saying it. If he was ranked and I was like, okay, yeah, I got a pretty big spread there, I'd be like, all right, fine.
I think if I'm playing one this week out of Edwards and Ruggs, I'm playing Ruggs, but I'm just not playing either. Like you said, I got Ruggs ranked at 51. I just think there's a lot of other options that we drafted earlier for a reason. And I don't mind taking the dart throw if you want this week, even right out of the gate, because we haven't seen it yet. Deontay Johnson. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Deontay Johnson versus Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, you got Johnson 34. I got Ruggs at 33, and then it's 51-48. So that's about even flip. All right. I like
you keeping track of these? I
just wrote it down. I can't remember crap.
All right, cool. Good deal. I like the receivers of dart throw because this Carolina defense is horrendous. I think they're going to be the team to target this year when you're talking about low-end guys looking for big weeks. I think we covered the Raiders. They're still the Raiders, right? Yeah.
They're still the Raiders.
The only thing I will point to, again, if you want to add another QB or you're streaming or you're not sure you're in a deeper league, Derek Carr, 18% owned in Yahoo leagues. Again, this Carolina defense is going to be horrible. I have Carr ranked just above Kirk Cousins, just above Cam Newton, but I'm playing him over like Ryan Tannehill, Joe Burrow, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Daniel Jones for sure. Like if I have Daniel, we'll talk about this more in depth tomorrow, but if I have Daniel Jones, I will burn a roster spot on another QB this week. I don't want any part of that. So you can take a look. Carr is pretty readily available at 18% if you're looking at the Raiders. So what about the Carolina McCaffreys?
The Carolina McCaffreys. You lighten up your McCaffreys. We both got him at running back 1. And then
yeah, we're on a limb there.
DJ Moore, we both got a wide receiver 8 versus Fantasy Pros at 11. So we're both loving some DJ Moore. We'll take some more of that this week. And then I've got 52 for Mr. Anderson, and you got the hashtag NA going on there. And then that's about it for me. I'm not really interested in, I don't think anybody else on that squad. Tight end. No,
I like Ian Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
He's missed some practice or some camp, but they only, and this is why, again, you got to keep up with this, with the news cycles. Carolina only has 2 tight ends on their roster. So if they were that worried about the Ian Thomas injury, I think they would have obviously kept another one. Even teams usually even keep 3 tight ends. So for them to only keep 2, I think it's interesting. And this Raiders team wasn't particularly good against the tight end last year. I think Ian Thomas is somebody that if you missed out on the, late guys, but if you missed out on Jarwin, Jonnu Smith, like those guys, if you missed out on those and you're just not happy about your tight end situation, I do have Ian Thomas at 16. So I'm okay if you want to throw that dart.
Herndon versus Thomas.
Oh man, you got Herndon at 10 this week.
I got him really high. You only got him at 17, but
yeah,
I'm trying to find something more fair in our rankings. But
yeah, I mean, I'll take that if you want. I think that's fun. I think that's a pretty good one. Those are two guys that aren't heavily rostered that I think would be interesting to recap, I guess. So, all right. How about this? Some wager wall on the fly. I like it. I like it a lot. So, all right.
Wager wall. You guys say that, not me. All right,
man. So this is fun. We cruised through this pretty good. I think that this is an easier week, obviously, because we don't have injuries. We have obviously nothing to go off of. So we're just flying a little bit in the dark here, but hopefully everyone's pumped about football starting back up here. And we got another 8 games to talk about, going to be on the Friday show. So again, make sure you stay subscribed. You can follow me on Twitter at KyleFFFellas. If you're following me, I drop a weekly article that drops on Saturdays over at Ball Blast Football now this year, but I've been doing it for a few years, called Waiver Wire Sniping. I talk about some guys that you can pick up on Saturday or Sunday before the games, in most leagues probably for free as free agent ads. And I highlight the guys that you should add before kickoff that could potentially be the people that everyone's targeting the next week, get you one week ahead. So that's why you talked about in the offseason, like I love having that extra roster spot, can play with it, add a second QB if your QB stuck, add a guy right before kickoff. So that's where you can find my stuff. Nice. Bob, why don't you tell everybody that might not be, that the SmackDown listeners that haven't done it, aren't living right, might not are following you, where they can find your stuff, and then right. I'll let you sign it off today.
Sounds good. All right, I can be found at Bob's Three Toed on Twitter. I love communicating with people, talking to people, debating with people a little, wherever it might be.
You debate?
What?
That's weird.
Yeah, I used to say debating for no reason other than debate in my tag, but I had to make more useful space of my little space Twitter gives me under my under my title. So anyway, on Twitter, I love having a good time on there. I'm very interactive, unlike some co-hosts that Seth, Kyle may have. Damn it, I said his name anyway. The Kyle may have had before. I love Seth. I love Seth. So definitely, you can find me there. Bob's Three-Toed Warriors on YouTube. That's where you can find the YouTube stuff. Shows all week long. So that's basically it. Just get in there, get subscribed, have a good time. Catch the show's live streams on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. Don't show up Barbosa time at 9 p.m. Central. So, and that's going to be it for this show, I think. So this is Bob's Three-Toed Warrior and Kyle, reminding you that, damn it, tonight, soon enough, you'll be able to hit the waiver wire, set your lineups, and dominate your opponents. And until next time, see ya. Yeah, we got a tight end bet, baby.